I think some years, as you start the season, you've got a better idea of what you have than others. And if a coach doesn't tell you that that somehow doesn't have butterflies before the opening tip, he's either not being accurate or he needs to find another line of work, because while I'm excited about the tip, I'm also anxious about it. We did not play well in our exhibition game. The opponent played very, very well, but they exposed a lot of our weaknesses, and we've been working on those weaknesses, and with some mixed results. Even though we're getting ready to tip tomorrow night, I'm still considering some different lineups and some different guys playing some different positions. So, typically at this time of the year, I would be a little bit more set in who I would think would be, what our rotation would be, and I think how we play and who plays well and what combinations play well together are still going to have a lot to do with all that. I'm sure you guys are going to want to ask me questions about what was reported yesterday, and as I've said from the very beginning, I cannot comment. This is an ongoing investigation. We are working through the process. And so if you guys got questions about basketball, I'm happy to talk about them.
Bruce, how do you envision this situation being reconciled? When there was a report out there, I'm not getting into what you talk, you're not talk. How do you envision going forward as the basketball coach at Auburn University when there is a report out there? How do you recruit? How do you run a program when there's a report out there that this administration wants to fire you?
Well, what you do is you just focus on the opponent, you focus on the kids, you focus on what's ahead of us. And right now, I'm focused on Norfolk State. We are looking with an eye forward to Charleston. We've been working on Indiana State and Temple and Clemson and Old Dominion and trying to slip some of those scouts in during the preseason. And we've got good film on us playing those actions because that's our early schedule. As far as recruiting is concerned, we don't have any seniors. This 2018 class was not going to be a big class for us. In some ways, it plays to an advantage in a sense, because it's not a big year for us. So I get up every day and I go to work and I do the very best I can with what I got, and I try not to listen to the whatever the distractions are. So we're focused on what's ahead.
But can you envision still being the coach of this program in a month, 2 months,
let's just say our focus right now is Norfolk State, and we are working through this process, and I got asked the question if I was concerned. I'm no more concerned than anybody else is concerned. We're all concerned about where we're at, and we hope we get through this and we're able to put it behind us.
What did you tell your players, though? I mean, they read that and they see that,
For the first time yesterday, I addressed it because somebody had shown me that during the practice, and I said, guys, don't worry about it. This is just going through the process.
Are Austin and Danjel out for tomorrow?
The eligibility status, I get it report day to day, and right now those two guys, as of this afternoon, are eligible to practice but not compete. So I don't have any updates on any changes.
Bruce, you talked about one of the potential things was looking at Jared and Davion together. Is that more the things you're still looking at?
It is, and maybe in certain situations, like if Davion had played better against Barry, and he wasn't in such foul trouble, I might have played them together late when I needed to stop. But Davion hadn't played that well for me to sort of warrant putting him out there together. But yeah, that would be an example of a combination that we could look at in certain situations.
Not to belittle the point, Bruce, but when you say that you're getting a report daily on Austin and Danjel, does that mean that the school has started the reinstatement process for those two
I don't
players?
know where they're at in the process. I just know
Okay.
I know who's eligible, and I know who's going to be at practice, and if there was a change, they'd notify me. There is no change.
Bruce, I understand this is an ongoing investigation here. There is also an ongoing investigation at least 4 other schools. One has already taken the actions it has at Louisville. But we are not hearing about Sean Miller. We are not hearing about Oklahoma State's head coach. We're not hearing about Jim Larinaga and their job security. They are not playing out publicly. How do you answer for why is this such a messy process whereby apparently two sides cannot agree to so much as meet and discuss whatever is going on, while other schools are
I'm not gonna comment about the ongoing investigation or something that was reported. We are working our way through this process. We're working on it every single day. And we play Norfolk State tomorrow night.
Coach, how's the squad match up with Norfolk State? What are some strengths and weaknesses you expect coming into that game?
They're an older team, a number of redshirt seniors and a number of seniors. They're a tough team. It's interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the 757, and you know what that means, whether it be in basketball or football or the Virginia Beach area is just very, very well known for putting out great athletes and tough kids, and they take great pride in the 757. Well, that's part of what this Norfolk State team is all about. They're out of the MEAC. They're picked second in their league, and they're going to be really athletic. They got good size. They're multiple defensively. They run a lot of different things, and so we've got to kind of predict based on looking at them last year what they might run this year. So we really don't know a lot about them. So they're a dangerous opponent. They're an athletic opponent. And the only thing that's very special for me about Norfolk State is in 1995, I played Norfolk State. Was it 94 or 95? Played them in the NCAA Final Four to get to the championship game. And I don't know if we got to them when we lost the championship or when we won the championship, but I beat Norfolk State to get to the championship game in either 94 or 95. So it's the last time we played against them. It was pretty significant.
Bruce, would it be accurate to kind of say that after the exhibition game, you were a little bit shocked at the lack of progress that had been made from the summer to Italy to that exhibition game?
Absolutely. I would say that after the exhibition game, I was somewhat surprised. I was disappointed because we had made some progress through the summer. I thought we competed well in our one inter-squad scrimmage game, and I saw some progress in that game. The Berry game absolutely was a complete blueprint of what we did wrong and how we did it wrong a year ago. Most of the games that we lost on leads, it followed script. We couldn't get stops in the second half, and put so much pressure on our offense every time down that we had to score, and we scored almost every time down. But down at the other end, we just didn't do the job. And I was surprised by it and really disappointed in it.
For the first game, how about your playing rotations? You want to play 8 or 9 guys or what?
I'd say I think we'll play 9 or 10. Yeah. I mean, I still think we're in a situation where I got 2 guys at every position. And I think you'll start seeing a little bit of separation, from the minutes. Like, for example, in the overtime situation, I think Bryce Brown and Mustafa both played 35 minutes in the game. I think they played 30 minutes up until that overtime, roughly speaking. So those guys got a little bit more of the volume of the minutes, and of course that's a high number of minutes for me and the way we play. So, for example, Mustafa and Bryce over a period of time had earned being out there a little bit more. But I would anticipate playing 10.
Against Berry, your front court guys pretty much had even minutes. Is that something you're going to try to do again? Or are you seeing separation between those guys right now?
I would say the front court guys, are pretty even. Somebody's got to start, somebody's got to finish. I think it's possible for Deshaun Murray to begin to start playing some small forward, which would mean more minutes for Chuma Kiki. That's a possible adjustment. I think Deshaun's got the ability to do that. The issue is learning the positions. The 1s, 2s, and 3s are very similar positions, point guards and wings. The 4s and 5s are very similar positions as far as the front line. But the 3 and the 4 are night and day different. They're night and day different. And yet that would be where I'd be asking Deshaun to maybe try to play a little bit of both. And so perhaps a limited package for him would be appropriate to get him out there on the floor with Chuma at the same time, because they're two of my better defensive players.
When we talked to you after the game Friday night, what's gonna have to happen to make you a happy coach about the way you guys play?
Just the growth, the intensity, the effort, the energy, the body language, handling adversity. I didn't think we handled the adversity very well against Barry. I think our guys respected him. I told them, we worked through their stuff. Their stuff was good. Those guys were better from 3 than 2. They made shots, and let me tell you something. They missed some open shots too. So I would say after that game, our guys had every reason to have some doubt in the progress that we've obviously made. So we set out some goals yesterday. We looked at some national averages of teams' field goal percentage defense and the rebound margin and steals and things that we felt were realistic for this basketball team to do and to attain. And if we can realize, we got to be able to go in there, and those guys got to understand what the field goal percentage defense should be at halftime and what the challenge is going to be in the second half. I'm going to do something a little different in this game. We're not going to go on the floor as much in pregame. I'm going to cut down our pregame warm-ups a little bit. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get them out of the locker room sooner at halftime, and we're going to go harder in our halftime warm-ups and actually get a lather up a little bit and see if that could get us off to a better start. So those would be a couple of adjustments that I would look to make.
Bruce, going back to Danjel and Austin, I asked a week ago, when there's still ambiguity as to a timeline as to eligibility, have they expressed any interest in pursuing professional opportunities?
We haven't even talked about it. Right now, what we've talked about is having them back at practice. Like, for example, we just got Austin back this week. And so Austin spent one day on the scout team so that he could work on his offense and work on his timing and things like that. And then he spent one day with us, again, learning what we do. So I think for both of those guys, it's staying right and staying ready.
When you have one scholarship still open for this year, over the last week, 10 days, 2 weeks, have you explored trying to find someone to fill that? So you're down 3 guys. You have 12, you have 9.
Right.
So have you explored an option to find anybody to fill that for this season?
No, I feel really good about the 11 guys that we have, and so I would not necessarily anticipate a mid-semester. We're not working on that right now. It's possible things like that can happen, but right now it's not something you can work on.
And going back to recruiting, you said yes, there is no seniors, but when you know that likely you will have at least 3 players leaving, plus
Well,
the opening you have.
Again, right now, we have 1 senior Pac-Time, and we have 1 scholarship available. So as we said, the 2018 recruiting class was not going to be a big class for us, and we've been focusing on the other classes. And again, those are you're asking for answers to questions that are what ifs, and we'll see where we are at the end of the semester or at the end of the season.
Bruce, when it was assumed that you were going to have Austin at the start of the season, I guess I assumed that Anthony was going to transition a little bit more to the 4. Without Austin, is that kind of put on hold now that he has to basically now go back to playing the 5 again?
I'd say either Anthony or Horace
Right.
potentially could have transitioned to the 4 if Austin was available, because Austin was going to garner the majority of those minutes at the 5 spot. But now Anthony and Horace are 2 5-men. Chuma is probably, even though he's a forward, would be next, and Cole Blackstock would be next. So I agree. I wouldn't think that those guys would be playing any time at forward. I'll take a couple more.
How is Wiley's leg responding so far since he's been back?
I asked him how he felt, and he gave me a bit of a negative response to how he felt because he wasn't thrilled with how he's playing. I said, Austin, I didn't ask you how you felt about playing. How do you feel? He said, I feel great. He has had no effects having contact this week and running and moving. It was good to see him smile, and it's great to see him healthy. And he's not 100% yet because he really has only had 2 practices. but he'll get around, be ready pretty soon. Okay?